Well, the second half of the 2025 season is underway now for the St. Louis Cardinals. The games begin on Friday. We'll do a quick little synopsis of how the first half went for the Cardinals and then look ahead and preview what does the second half of the season bring for the club. Are they contenders? Are they pretenders? What are they going to do the rest of July and the remainder of the season? We'll discuss our thoughts on that in this episode of Dealing the Cards. Welcome back into Dealing the Cards. Josh, joined by Andrew and Sandy as always. We had a really fun draft live stream on Sunday, so if you missed that, go check that out. We had a bunch of guests on. Kareem was helping lead the charge on that, and it was just a really fun way to cover the draft. I think we had a ton of fun watching it unfold, and I think all of us were pretty surprised by all the picks the Cardinals made in a good way. And so we could do a little bit of a recap, or at least a little bit of like a few days removed from that, thoughts on that. But I did want to start off today asking you to, if you had to put the first half in perspective, what kind of grade would you give the first half for the St. Louis Cardinals? I think coming into the year, obviously, there was a variety of expectations with the club, but I think most people did not expect the Cardinals to be outright contenders in 2025, and yet they sit with a record of 51-46. They are 6.5 games back out of the division, but the wildcard race, they're firmly in the thick of that. Sandy, how would you grade the Cardinals' first half?
Well, I think with like the context of everything that's gone on this season, when you think about how the Cardinals definitely have played poorly over the last like 2 weeks, it's hard to not have that recency bias. Definitely frustrating because for a while there, it felt like they were in the division race as well. They got, within 2.5 or 3 games of the Cubs. And then they really went on this tough skid. But when you think about the whole season, yeah, I think Vegas had the Cardinals over under at like 76.5 wins or 77.5. I remember when we were predicting our records for the Cardinals at the end of the season, at the beginning of the year, like I think I said 84, 85 wins, and people were laughing at me. They said that's ridiculous. And the Cardinals were on pace to outplay that. The Cardinals were on pace to get, I think, up near 86, 87 wins as things stand right now, with an easier schedule to play than they played in the first half. There's no reason they can't get to 89 or 90 wins, have a real shot at the wild card. So yeah, I think you're crazy if you're not giving this team a B+ probably for the first half. Like, they've outplayed expectations. They have surpassed what odds makers said. They've surpassed what experts around MLB have said. So yeah, it's been very encouraging so far. And there's a lot of good things happening too. So
what would you say, Andrew?
I mean, honestly, my expectations for this team were a lot lower than both of you. I know, Josh, you had them closer to 500. And
I had them below 500. I had them at 80 and 82.
But like pretty close to 500. Like I think it was 80 and 82 was what you had them at, which is like basically 500. And it's not really anything like amazing, but also just not like great. Sandy, I know you had them winning the World Series, but like always, still like being over 500.
That's a joke.
In a more serious prediction. But I probably had them closer to 90 losses than I did to like 80 losses, where they've really outperformed what I thought they were capable of, and I'd probably give them closer to an A-. Like they're not, an A would be like they hold a playoff spot, I think, in my mind, which I think they're close enough to it where if the deadline was tomorrow, I wouldn't be in favor of selling everything, because one, there's not a lot to sell. They should have done that in the offseason. And then two, I just think you should buy into these young guys because they've really been playing an exciting brand of ball and something that I've found myself having more fun watching than, like, even when they lose, like I find myself having a lot more fun watching them lose than I did last year in 2023 for sure. So I think I would give them an A-. I probably would have written this season off. I probably would have traded Helsley and Arenado and all of those guys in the offseason. And, Arenado definitely has been helping this team win ball games. The other guys that I would have traded, like Eric Fetty and Ryan Helsley, would the team be better off if they weren't here? Maybe. You can make that argument for Helsley. You definitely make that argument for Eric Fetty. But, I think they've done a lot better than what I would have said that they were. And like, obviously the last couple of weeks have been disappointing, but if you told me coming into the season that this team would be 5 games over 500 after the All-Star break, I would have been like, that's a huge success.
Yeah.
And that just shows you that things have been going right. The young guys have been playing good ball. And all of those things are true, right? Like the weak points of this team are what we thought they would be. The starting pitching has just not been great. The bullpen has been shaky at times, but for the most part, solid. And the young guys have been really impressing me. And if you told me that all of this would be happening while Jordan Walker has not played and has like an OPS nearing 2023 or 2024 Michael Ciani, I would have been like, oh, well, I guess that means Donovan and Newbar and Herrera and all those guys are doing great. And for the most part, I think that's been true.
Yeah, I'd probably say I range between it depends on what you mean by the first half as a success. I think record-wise and like in their competition on the field, I'd say A-, because like you said, I don't think most of us expected them to be 500, below 500, maybe a game or two above 500. I don't think people thought they'd be pushing high 80s wins, a playoff team, depending on what happens the next few weeks here. Again, they fluctuated from being on pace for a 90-win team at times. So I think from that standpoint, I'd give it an A-. But if you talk more about this is the runway season, this is figuring out what you have for the future, I think you have answers on Lars Nootbaar is probably not a part of your future, and you have an answer that Ivon Herrera is, but like you don't know what position he is, and Alec Burleson you think is, but like where does he fit in? Brendan Donovan obviously is, but like Jordan Walker, your answer right now is either inconclusive or he's not. So like, and like you kind of have an answer on Liberatore that he's a starter, but you don't really know if he's a frontline starter or a middle of the rotation starter or a back end starter. So I think there's still a lot of questions that are left unanswered. And so I don't know how much of them you could have answered to this point. And so I think that's still B+B range. But I do think like the fact that it's gone so poorly with Walker, it's a nice thing that other things have gone positively. But like, I don't think any of us thought it would be this bad with him, right? Or like that Nolan Gorman wouldn't have had as much opportunity as he has had thus far. The Mason Wynn side of things, I think he's been fine. Victor Scott has exceeded our expectations, but he could be this year. So I think the runway wise, there's potential for some of that to change here in the next few weeks for positive or negative, right? Like if Wynn just slumps the rest of the year and then like is like an 85 WRC plus guy or something, like that's gonna be really disappointing. And he's still part of the future, but it's like, oh, now you've got questions there. Or if I don't know, the Jordan Walker side of things, I don't know if he can make himself a positive for the rest of the year, but can he show any encouraging signs at all? Or are we completely writing him off? What they do at the deadline will influence things too. But again, looking straight at the first half, success on the field, I'd give it in the A's, like A-. Total for what this year is supposed to be, probably like a B. And so that's where I put myself in between of like a B+. But I can see arguments. I don't think much lower than that makes sense unless people are just wanting to be really frustrated by this team. But it's like, what were your expectations for this year then? I don't know. So, and I guess I'm going to count the draft as part of the first half. And that was really encouraging to me to see them. You could clearly see Heimblum's hand in that and a direction shift in that. And it gives me signs that are encouraging signs that the future is going to be different and will be better. Who knows, but different. I think so. So as we shift our attention toward the second half, though, I think probably the biggest question that the Cardinals are going to have to answer in the next few weeks will play a huge role in how they act upon that answer is whether or not this team is a contender or a pretender in 2025, right? Is this a team that's going to have playoff aspirations, a team that does something at the deadline to add to the roster, or is it going to be a team that is looking to subtract or potentially even not just subtract to give guys away at the deadline to get value from, but are they going to prioritize the opportunity for young players for this at the sake of winning, like getting Jordan Walker in the lineup every day, or getting Gordon Graceffo more opportunities, or Michael McGreevy more opportunities, stuff like that? Or are they going to hitch their wagons and play somewhere in the middle where they trade away some guys and they hold some guys to keep competing? I don't know. So, Andrew, I want to throw it to you. Do you think this team ultimately will be, when August 1st hits us, are we going to be calling this team a contender or a pretender? Or I guess at that point, or contender, pretender, or a seller? Because I guess a pretender could be the world where they think they're in it and we're all like, you're not.
Yeah. That's the real question, I guess, is just what will they do at the trade deadline? And I think like no matter what happens at the trade deadline, it's not going to really change the trajectory of this team long term, I don't think. Because I don't think they're going to make that big swing where they like trade for Taylor Ward, but they sell the farm to do it, right? Like that's a name that I feel like has been linked to the Cardinals, but I just don't know if like that doesn't seem like a realistic Cardinals move to me. where you probably have to give up a top 100 prospect to get someone like that, because I think he has multiple years of control, and he's one of the premier right-handed bats that's going to be available at the trade deadline. And, you know, the Cardinals are a game and a half out of the wild card right now, and there's like 6 other teams that they're competing with. There's the 3 wild cards, and then the Giants and the Reds, and maybe the Diamondbacks as well. But they're entering a stretch of play that's really important, but also not that difficult. They have the Diamondbacks, who they swept earlier in the season. They're going to Chase Field to play them. And then they play the Rockies, the Padres, and the Marlins. And the Padres are the only team, I think, out of that bunch that I think really would give the Cardinals any sort of trouble. If you don't sweep the Rockies, like, what are you doing at this point, right? Like, one of the worst teams in baseball history. They did lose a series last year to the White Sox, so it wouldn't really surprise me if they did that. But they should be rested. They should be recharged. Nootbaar is going to miss the first couple games, but I think he'll be off the IL pretty quickly. Arenado is getting the rest that he needs from the finger injury that he's had. And every single player except Brendan Donovan, who looked pretty good yesterday, has been getting the rest that they desperately need, right? So, like, I think the rotation should be recharged. For, you know, the first 3 guys you feel relatively good about, and then if you throw Eric Fedde, Miles Michaelis against the Rockies, you know, maybe they pitch well, right? Like, it's the Rockies. What are they going to do? And even if they give up 8 runs, the Rockies pitching might give up 11 runs. So who cares? So you might survive an Eric Fedde, Miles Michaelis turn the rotation right before the deadline, which, you know, like, we'll see what happens. Do I think this team legitimately could make a run if they don't add another starter, and also get rid of one of Fedde or Michaelis and have McGreevy in there and add another guy? Not really. Like, I don't think you can have an auto loss in your rotation pretty much every turn through it. Like, we saw what happened with 2023 Waino. And, you know, that was a lot worse than what Eric Fedde and Miles Michaelis are doing, but I would rather have 1 2023 Waino than 2 of Eric Fedde and Miles Michaelis in the rotation, honestly, at this point, right? Because, like, then you have another guy that's passably good, instead of, you know, just whatever these guys are giving you. You have 2 guys in your rotation that are basically not giving you a chance to win when they go out there. Although, you know, I think Miles Michaelis had a good start last week, and then Eric Fedde was like, and then ended up winning anyway.
Well, I mean, I don't even know if I'd call 4 runs in 4 innings.
No, it was bad.
Like, that's a 9 ERA right there. So
No,
his
that was
improvement
bad.
was instead of giving up, you had like an 18 ERA the 2 games before that, and now it's down to
they won despite Eric Fedde.
Yeah.
So
well, they didn't.
And, you know, it is in Colorado.
Right?
Like, Eric Fedde might not survive in cores, but, you know, the Rockies pitching is not any better than Eric Fedde, right? Like, who are they rolling out there? But, like, if they don't make a reasonably, like, decent move to get like some sort of starter that can be better, like reasonably better than Fedde and Michaelis, I don't think that they can contend. Do I think the lineup has what it takes? I think with Herrera back, and if you have a healthy lineup, because they were really scuffling. Like, Arenado was missing a lot of time, and he's not been what you expected out of him this season, but, like, he's still better than whoever else they were rolling out there.
Yeah.
Every day. Who was it? Like, Jose Fermin. Like, Fermin, credit. Like, it's been great. But, like, would I rather see Fermin or Arenado in an everyday lineup? Probably Arenado still. And guys like Pajes, just getting more playing time. Because, like, reasonably, Pozo's not going to be. Yeah. That would be great, right? Just, like, throw every game that Fedde and Michaelis pitch, and then save the bullpen. Sandy had this idea in the offseason. Just throw Miles Michaelis as the garbage man. Have him throw 400 innings, but they're all just after you've already lost the game. Although this team has fight, you know, you never know when they can come back. I don't know. I think they're pretenders unless they make a significant-ish move. Like, if they acquire 2023 Eric Fedde or whatever, 2024 Eric Fedde, like, sure, just trade him in the offseason, please. Like we all asked. Like, that would be fine. But I don't think they can do it without another starter.
Sandy, do you see this as a contender, pretender, or seller by the time we get to the deadline here?
I don't think they're going to be full sellers. And I think part of that is just, again, like, what do the Cardinals really have to offer? I know there are people that are hell-bent on this team selling that think that you could get, I just don't know if they're going to get anything for these guys. You know, Eric Fetty is worthless. Miles Michaelis is worthless. I don't even think you're getting like a Tekoa Roby this deadline. I don't think you're getting, I mean, I don't even think you're getting a Thomas Sajazi. And you look at the return they got in 2023, and I think all of us pretty much agreed, like, these are solid moves for the most part. The Jordan Hicks return wasn't enough, but most of the, you know, the Montgomery move, we were like, wow, this is 2 like borderline top 100 prospects. Great to restock your system. Like, they got interesting enough names for Flaherty. And when you think about how bad Flaherty was in Baltimore, when you think about how bad DeYoung and Hicks were in Toronto, like, they got great value in these trades. And you look at it today, I mean, aside from Tekoa Roby and maybe Zach Showalter, like, none of these guys have done anything for your system. Robersa hasn't even been the AAA depth you need because he's hurt. You haven't gotten anything out of, you know, Kloffenstein. I don't even remember the other guy he came over with from Toronto. Drew Rom made like spot starts for you that stunk. So the point I'm making is, like, that was a better return than the Cardinals are going to get today. And it really didn't even fortify your system. There just was so little coming back. And so I don't see the Cardinals going that route this year because I just don't think there's anything here. Like, maybe Ryan Helsley gets you something, but he's not getting you what he would have gotten you in the offseason. He's definitely not getting you what he would have gotten you last deadline. He's not getting you anything close to that value. And I think that no matter what you get back for these guys, there's going to be a disconnect with the fan base in terms of like what they felt they should get back versus what they actually did. I mean, you're going to see people saying, how could you trade Ryan Helsley for this bag of balls and a sack of potato chips? Like, it's just not going to be his perceived value is probably not what his industry value is anymore. Outside of that, yeah, I think last year, even after acquiring Eric Fetty, who probably was the best pitcher moved at the deadline, you know, I think people were saying the Cardinals are still pretenders. I think if you just looked at that team, as much as I wanted to envision a scenario where they made the playoffs, like, I don't think anyone was surprised when they struggled in August. They had a tougher schedule down the stretch as well than they do this year, so I think that matters. But I think this team is better. I think this offense is better. This offense definitely scores more. Even when you've got guys slumping, getting Herrera back, it's just like making a trade. But, you know, even when that happens, like, even when you've got guys slumping and guys out, I still think this team has more oomph than last year's team. Yeah, I mean, some of the pitching stinks, but at the same time, like, you can improve by just getting rid of guys. You don't even have to necessarily trade them. So if the Cardinals are going to like contend, you know, it just means getting rid of Miles. It just means getting rid of Fetty. You don't even have to get anything back. So I think I would view them as a contender in all likelihood. I don't think they'll sell. I just think the race is too wide open. There's too many other teams with a lot of question marks. Like, I think people on Giants podcasts are doing the same thing right now, where they look at their team and they say, well, we might be good. We might not be very good. At least we got a playoff spot at the moment or whatnot. But I think they look at their offense and they say, this has a lot of question marks too. Those fans are complaining just like our fans are. So I think it's the same thing. Very wide open. So I don't think they'll sell. But I don't know if I view them as like a full contender either. It's just hard. So many question marks.
Now, Sandy, going on about the 2023 trade deadline, did not mention John King a single time. That's crazy.
Hey, it's called personal growth.
It's called personal growth.
No, I love John King. He has been great for us.
I do think they probably hold at the deadline. Or I think they probably try to play both worlds, but I maybe it's just me convincing myself that it makes more sense, but I do think it makes sense to try and move on from a Ryan Helsley, even though you're not going to get what you should have gotten before. I just still think he's more valuable as a trade asset to you than what he can do for you down the stretch, because this team, I mean, you're hoping to get the third wild card, but at this point, I don't know how realistic that is. You are trailing in the wild card race, the Brewers and the Mets, who I think we all could probably say are probably playoff teams this year. I don't think we think either of them are missing. I mean, here, I guess let's just run through this, because this is what they need to be doing in the front office right now. Is like the Dodgers are making the playoffs. Tell me if there's a team you disagree with. Dodgers are making the playoffs. The Cubs are making the playoffs. The Phillies are making the playoffs. The Brewers are making the playoffs. The Mets are making the playoffs.
I don't know about the Brewers.
They're 4 games up in the wild card right now. I know.
They've been great, but I don't know if I trust that all. Like, there's still totally a world where the Brewers flame out. Like, that offense is not as good as it's been lately.
I mean, they're 16 games above 500 right now.
That's crazy.
I don't feel like they're flaming out. So, at worst case, they're this team that fades the third wild card. Okay, but so That's still 5 of the 6 playoff spots right there. So if you don't count the Brewers, it's 4. I think the Padres are probably making the playoffs, and I also think they're going to be aggressive and add to this team. And then even though like to your point, yeah, Giants, you're covering the Giants, you're probably asking the same kinds of questions you're asking about the Cardinals. But guess what? I trust Buster Posey's going to go out there and make some moves to improve this team. And the Reds are 2.5 games behind the third wild card right now. They're a game behind the Cardinals. I think the Reds probably do something. I don't think the Cardinals are going to do anything significant.
Who's making moves at this deadline, though?
I think everyone that's trying to contend.
No, like for the Cardinals.
What do you mean?
Do you think Mo wants to sell in his last year? Like, if he's the one making the moves, I don't think he's going to just be like, yeah, we're going to give up.
That's what I'm saying.
He's not going to sell. Like, they're not going to do that.
Well, I don't think you get moving Ryan Helsley means you're waving the white flag. I think you're hurting your chances technically, but I don't think you're waving the white flag on the season doing that. Again, I don't think any of us think getting rid of Eric Fetty is waving the white flag. But I do think they should strongly be
getting rid of Eric Fetty is like, hey, we want to win now. Like that's like.
But I don't think moving Ryan Helsley or even Phil Maton is saying you're for sure punty on the season. You're just also trying to take advantage of future value that they should be. So that's where I think if I look at the standings right now and then them, unless they feel really good about overtaking the Padres and beating out the Giants and Reds to make the playoffs, I don't see it. I don't like that idea. So that's just me on that. I think they'll be quote unquote pretenders in the sense that I don't think they'll sell as much as they should, but I do think they'll move one asset probably. They might add to the team. The only way you can convince me that they're a contender is if they decided at this deadline they're going to cash in some chips like Lars Nootbaar or Alec Burleson or guys like that they might decide, hey, long term we're going to commit to these guys over these guys, and so maybe you move Nootbaar for a cost controlled starter that helps upgrade your rotation. Like that's something that can be a contender, but I don't think they're doing those kind of moves till the off season. So that's where I'll say ultimately I think they're a pretender. I do think they move off of an asset, not just Eric Fetty. I do think they move a reliever because I think he just makes too much sense in this market. But I could totally see a world where the one thing they do is they just move McGreevy into the rotation and that's it. And they trade away or DFA Eric Fetty and then that's the deadline. And
Eric Fetty, like it's confusing to me. Like who's taking Eric Fetty in a trade?
Yeah, I don't know either.
Like the Rockies, maybe just like try to flip him at the deadline for something else. Like they would take him for cash and then try to get something out of him. I don't know.
Well, I mean that's probably not happening on deadline day. Like you're not. They're probably.
Oh yeah, no. I'm saying like if you DFA'd Eric Fetty right now.
I don't know. I honestly, if I'm being honest, I think probably the sole reason you're trying to trade Eric Fetty right now is to get rid of the money, even though it's not that much.
That makes me so mad. His prorated salary for the next.
I'm saying that's why they're not DFAing him. Is that they know they're not going to get anything, or at least they're hoping to get something. But they're worst case, hopefully we can find someone to take on his whole contract.
You could have gotten you might have been able to get like a top 100 guy for Eric Fetty in the offseason.
I don't think you would have got a top 100.
Like one.
I think you could have gotten someone real. Yeah, Steven Matt's talk is interesting. I see Kareem in the chat pointing that out.
Yeah,
and but I think if you trade Matz, you get worse. Like I think you do actually get worse. I think if you trade Maton, you get significantly worse. I think if you trade Helsley, you get worse. Maybe not as much worse as Maton or Matz would make you.
Is Matz still stretched out?
He's like half.
I would not hate.
I'd love to see
like a high leverage lefty. Like, what if they made a move for like an Aroldis Chapman, and then just that was the only move they made? Like, you know what I mean? Off the field, it's not going to happen with a guy like that. But like a guy like that of that caliber, a high leverage lefty, and you move Matz into the rotation, and you get rid of both Michaelis and Fetty. I feel like that would be fine.
I guess my question is, do you think they're going to be that much better next year to the people that want to sell when they're like in it? The Cardinals are a game and a half out. They might not make the playoffs, but they're going to play meaningful games in August and September if they don't sell. And like you're going to be able to go to the ballpark in September and say, hey, this game matters a lot today. And if the Cardinals win, they're going to have a chance to go to the playoffs. Versus if they sell, they're probably going to finish 7 or 8 games out of it, if not worse, you're telling the team you don't have any faith in them. They're not going to play meaningful baseball after week 1 of September, probably. And you enter next year, and I don't know how much better they're going to get. Like a lot of the same guys are going to, like your roster is going to have a lot of carryover next year. Like if you don't believe in the current club, I don't know how much you believe in next year's club, besides maybe like adding. But if you're going to add, why not add now?
I don't know if I agree with the fact that this will be a very similar club to next year.
Well, I mean, you're going to have Mason win next year. You're probably going to have Lars Nootbaar.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah. You might have Victor Scott again. You're going to have Contreras.
He also might not be the starter.
There's a great chance that Sonny Gray is still your best pitcher next year. Actually,
Yeah.
I think I would argue that there's like an 80% chance Sonny Gray is still your number one starter next year, and he might get worse. Sonny Gray is old. Like, I hate to break it to people. Sonny Gray is what, 35, 36 now? He's not young. He's your best pitcher. He's probably going to be your best pitcher next year.
But
Liberatore, probably your number 2 starter next year.
Potentially, but then who are the other 3 spots? It's Palante, McGreevy, and then what do you do with that last one? I think there's a lot of question marks at the rotation. There's a lot of question marks at the bullpen, and I don't think anyone knows what the outfield's going to look like next year at this point. What's the DH spot going to look like? What's the catcher spot? I think there's a lot of uncertainty. I'm not saying that there's a massive turnover, but I think there will be significant change to the roster in a way that this offseason wasn't.
Do you just think they get better, though?
Team. I mean, it depends what direction they go, but I doubt they're going to run into the season again with the same log jams they have. Maybe they go toward getting prospects for those guys, but I think they probably try to change. I'm going to use Nootbaar as the name, but maybe it's Burleson, maybe it's someone else trying to turn that guy into pitching. Or what if they need a right-handed bat or they need a catcher? Like I think you're repurposing this team and trying to acquire different major league talent. So I understand that, like, at this point, when the pieces we're talking about of real value they can move are like that would actually hurt the team would be Helsley, Maton, and Matz. But I don't think it moves the needle more than a game or two. And so that's where I don't think you're not talking about getting Sonny Gray out of the rotation. You're not talking about taking obviously Ivon Herrera, but you're not talking about
moving multiple of those guys though. Like if you move 2 of those guys, your bullpen is a lot worse.
Probably, but also there's a world where you can patch it together and figure it out. That's it. Bullpens are so volatile because
I would rather see Riley O'Brien close games at this point than Ryan Helsley. Like I know it's been a small sample size.
Riley O'Brien also has a walk problem. Like I don't think I agree.
But Ryan Helsley has a throw the fastball right down the middle problem.
Yeah, Ryan Helsley though still has a lot of experience in the 9th inning. I'm fine with like Maton closing games or even Matz. I'd rather see Matz close games than Riley O'Brien.
But for as much as an opportunity that Riley O'Brien could be bad in August, September, so could Phil Maton, and so could Steven Matz, and so
Phil Maton did just blow up. It's true.
And we're talking about relievers here, which are the most volatile kind of player in all of baseball. And I would totally, and like Kareem said, there's plenty of arms in AAA right now that you can go to and run a stable bullpen. Will it be a strength of the team? No, but hopefully if you're putting McGreevy in your rotation's improving some. Your lineup just has to be more consistent in the second half. Agreed. It's got to look more like what it did when they were contending and playing. And when they went like, what was it, like 20-9 for a stretch? Like, okay, you might not go 20-9 a stretch with a worse bullpen, but you could go 18-12. And like, that's a team.
I would like to point out that while we were doing the draft stream, the game was happening and Ali Marmol got thrown out of the game. So I think we're about to win 10 games in a row, but you
might. But that's where I'm just saying, like, in terms of, I agree with you, Sandy, that like, it's like, if you're in it, like it does suck to potentially quote unquote white flag, but I don't think you're doing that moving relievers. And I personally don't see them moving all 3 of them. But honestly, you should be willing to shop 2 to 3. I think you should be willing to shop for sure 1, if not 2, and all 3, because I think the thing it really hurts is the ability right now they have to go up and down with these guys and to continue to keep these guys fresh and bring up new arms. But again, I'm willing to take that risk in the second half because I'm getting value in return for the future. Than to be like, well, we need to have 2 or 3 guys in the bullpen down there in AAA just in case.
I know you definitely like. I don't like that explanation. I don't like that reasoning from Mo. But I just question how much you're actually getting back. Like Phil Maton, probably still like at least a 1-win player between now and the end of the year. If he's in your bullpen,
I don't know if he is. Leverage role. I think he's not even a full win player in the first half.
Oh, is he actually not?
No, that's why
he was.
Are you sure?
With B-War, which is better.
Oh, well, I'm.
Let me see. Let me see what Maton's got.
He had more than Jacob Mizorowski, who was.
Okay, Maton's 0.8 now actually because he had such
F4 he's
bad
0.9
blow up. But I mean, Maton's like probably a 0.6 win player. Matz is probably almost a 1-win player, especially if he gets chances to pitch multi-inning appearances. Like, I just don't know if the value you're going to get back is ever going to match that. And
okay, so you're talking about
guys.
potentially losing a between 1.5 to 2 wins worth of a player to not move. I don't
think you're getting anything real back, is what I'm saying. Like, do you remember what? Well, is it better than than meaningful innings in September?
Let's go back to Paul DeYoung. Let's go back to Paul DeYoung in 2023. It's like, oh, you got nothing. You got Matt Savonson. Well, Matt Savonson now is a bullpen arm.
That's true. Matt Savonson
and I understand, like, you're not going to get Takeo Roby and Thomas DeJC, but it doesn't mean when you jump down from those two guys that you're getting nothing now. Like, you could potentially get a guy who can be a fourth outfielder or third outfielder. Well, that's not it. That's a way bigger gap. There's a lot more in between those types of players. And also, like, just because, like, again, we're not saying they're going to get Cole Reagans, but like you never know what these guys turn into. And I trust the Chaim Bloom part of the front office to go target the right kinds of guys. And so I do think it's better than nothing. Again, if you're talking about if this conversation was about do you trade Sonny Gray or not, I understand it's way bigger of a loss, and that you get rid of Sonny Gray, you are punting on the season. I don't think you're doing that when you get rid of a bullpen arms like this. I think you're making it more volatile, but you do have the bullpen depth in Memphis that I think you could weather it. Is it more likely you don't now because you don't have all these other options? Sure. But again, I'm looking at Ryan Helsley right now, and I'm like, it's not that great anyways.
It's not.
Helsley's been awesome.
Not. I'd be happy to move.
Steven Matz has been regressing lately. I think it's okay. I personally think it's okay to move relievers, but
yeah, the Dodgers traded Jordan Alvarez for Josh Fields. Like, these things can happen. Like, you never know. I feel like it's worth shooting at least, right? Like, Josh Fields is not even as good as Phil Maton at that point, probably. Right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, maybe they get lucky. I hope if they're going to trade these guys, I sure hope they get lucky. I hope the return is good. I guess. I mean, if Kareem's saying you're going to get a 45,
it's not even lucky, right? Like, Chaim Bloom got Willie Abreu back for what's that guy? For Christian Vasquez at the deadline, like. You know, Chaim Bloom knows what he's doing.
Maybe they do land a real player.
Let's do a quick ad read for 314 because they're the presenting sponsor of our podcast. They do a great job over there. They're located at 9640 Olive Boulevard in Olivet. They're open 10 to 5 Monday through Friday and 10 to 4 on Saturdays and Sundays. They buy, sell, and trade all sports cards and Pokemon cards at the newest selections of packs, boxes, and single cards of local players and stars from around the league. Make sure you go check them out. They're awesome. Let them know we sent you. Also want you to tell you about our other sponsor, and that's Underdog Sports. The Deal on the Cards podcast is proud to be partnered with Underdog Sports, our favorite place to play fantasy games. You're now eligible to play in Illinois, Missouri, Indiana, and 37 other U.S. states. You got to check out Pick'em. It's so easy to play. You just pick 2 to 8 stats of your favorite players and choose whether they'll go higher or lower. You can win 20 times your money by going 5 for 5. If that sounds like fun, sign up with our promo code CARDS to claim your first free pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We can't wait to see your entries. So let's continue the conversation, but also I think I want us to try and think through how much runway do we think they're going to give in the second half, because even if they move guys at the deadline, if they hold or they buy, they're going to have to make decisions on how much do they play Jordan Walker, how do they fit Ivon Herrera in, all these kind of things. But yeah, I think it's a really interesting conversation to figure out who could they move and what kind of value could get in return. I do think, like, again, Kareem makes a good point in the chat. You're talking about grabbing 6 years of control of a player for a potential rental reliever. And I think that's something real that the Cardinals have to consider. But
yeah,
I get what you're saying, Sandy. I think if
it's good. Like, if I like the return, I'll be happy with it. But if I don't like the return, like, again, if they mismanage it and get the Jordan Hicks return, it's like 6 years of Adam Kloffenstein was worthless, and 6 years of Semmer Bursa is probably going to be worthless too. And I mean,
you always run that risk in a trade though, because they
got Sam Robertson back for Jordan Hicks, which I feel like is not worthless. Like, he's on the IL.
But like, Sam Robertson is probably never going to make an actual run of starts for the Cardinals.
Oh,
I think that's fair. I don't think he is.
He's deaf.
I don't think he is.
Yeah,
I doubt it.
I do think it goes even. It sounds kind of dumb, but like Semmer Bursa makes it so that they can be more aggressive with Michael McGreevy or Takeo Roby when a Semmer Bursa is healthy, because it's like, okay, if we move McGreevy into rotation, we do have Semmer Bursa. We don't like that option, but we could throw him if needed. Right now, it's like, what do you throw behind him? Zach Plesac or Everyone else is hurt right now. Drew Rom's hurt. Taco Roby's hurt. Yeah, I don't think even, and again, you're hoping for more than that. And I guess what's the downside on the other side then? It's like, well, you lost a game or two more down the second half in a year where you knew you're probably going to get curb stomped in the wild card anyways. Like, I'd rather take the risk to potentially get somebody in the future. Not every single year, but this year when the expectations weren't supposed to be there and you're trying to do everything you can to make 2026 and beyond better. The Cardinals shouldn't be that team where every year they're always trying to figure out how to maximize value for the future. But this year of all years, I think you got to do that. But let's talk about how do you do the runway conversation, though, because at the end of the day, no matter what they decide with that, they're going to have to make hard decisions about how much do they play Jordan Walker. Do they make Ivon Herrera the everyday DH, or did they start throwing him in the outfield because they are giving him work already out there? And they're talking about the potential of him playing outfield this year. Do you do that to help get Gorman's bat in the lineup more often? Do you sit Arenado a little bit more to get Gorman in there? Do you move Donnie in the outfield some to get Gorman in there? Like, what do you do if Page's behind the plate? Does Jimmy Crooks get a look at some point? Do you get JJ Weatherholt? Like, there's a lot of moving pieces right now that injuries can help with, but also like there's been plenty of weeks, 2 to 3 week stretches this year where we've seen the Cardinals have too many guys on the roster and not enough playing time. Sandy, I want to go to you first. Like, how do you think they're going to handle like some of those names like Jordan Walker, Burleson, Herrera, etc., or how would you handle it?
Well, I mean, how I would handle it is how I think Ollie will handle it this way. Like, I think Ollie knows that every day he's going out there and he's managing for his job. I think with a new regime coming in, he knows that he needs to maximize this club. And with the fan base, like the Cardinals can lose in the most ridiculous way possible. And it's always Ollie's fault for a large section of the fan base. And so I think that he will do what I probably would do in this situation, which is maximize the roster, win games. Jordan Walker hasn't shown you anything at this point. Like, I don't think it's so bad. There aren't even flashes. I think I might just call it a reset year, and I might not give Jordan Walker a lot of opportunities down the stretch. I think a lot of these questions answer themselves. Like, Mason Wynn's going to be your guy every day. That's great. I think Thomas Sajazi, like the people that are saying, oh, Thomas Sajazi needs runway, I don't think that's true. I think Thomas Sajazi in these limited stints has shown you he's probably not a regular. And I think a lot of evaluators knew that last year. I think people that are honest about the Cardinals system knew that. I think these might be the same lessons we learn when a guy like Nathan Church comes up. I mean, I want Nathan Church to be really good next year when he gets an opportunity with the big league club. But I mean, I think I do this all the time, but we tend to overrate prospects in the Cardinal system, and then they come up and then they're not that good at the big league level and we're shocked. I think at this point with Victor Scott, it's really hard to keep giving him starts every day unless you don't have other options. Like, if you're going to put Herrera in the outfield, then Victor Scott can be your fourth outfielder for a while. He hasn't shown you over the last 3 months.
Who's playing center?
Maybe Lars Nootbaar, but if you can't play Nootbaar in center, and if you hold on to Nootbaar, if you trade Nootbaar, then that really opens things up. But if you, man, there's so many guys, so much to consider. Then Victor Scott can play every day. I mean, at least you don't have to have Hampson playing anymore if that's the case. But at the end of the day, like, I do think that they need to prioritize winning games and having an actual competitive roster and not having black holes in your lineup when you don't have to. Give the guys that have earned playing time. Alec Burleson has earned playing time. Give it to him. That's the runway that he should get. Like, he's earned that runway. He should get that runway. I don't know if Jordan Walker's earned any runway at this point. Like, he's not even showing you flashes. Nolan Gorman, there have been ups, there have been downs, but he's a 100 OPS plus hitter on the season. Like, he's perfectly league average. He's gotten a pretty big sample at this point. I don't know if he's earned the right to push guys around in the lineup right now. You can give it to him if you want, and if there's no better options. Like, I'd rather have Gorman in there than Sajazi or Walker if that's the roster decision you're making. But at the end of the day, I just think, again, the Cardinals should prioritize winning. They should prioritize giving runway to guys that have actually earned it. The samples are big enough. And the guys that haven't earned the runway, they don't need the runway. Jordan Walker probably shouldn't get that many more at-bats this year. It just has been so bad. I mean, what do you think of that? Do you think that's the right direction? And do you think Ollie goes that way?
I mean, I think you're told, like, especially if you want Walker to be getting consistent at-bats right now, which, again, his problem, he needs to see big league pitching because he needs to be able to figure out how to lay off the slider and the curveball away and how to hit those pitches when he gets them. But at some point, too, it seems like they're rebuilding his swing, trying to get him comfortable. And I know he hit the home run in AA, but still overall, I think it's been so bad this year. I'm fine with him finishing the year in AAA and getting his consistent at bats, kind of like Nolan Gorman did last year, and then you bring him back up this year or next year and see what happens. In very similar fashion to Nolan Gorman, where it's like we hope he takes an everyday role, but we're not gifting it to him. And if he looks bad in spring training, whoever that player is will play over him. I'm also fine with him being on the roster, having some kind of role, but if he's sitting most days, I think it probably makes more sense to have him in AAA.
I agree.
Thomas, because you're hoping for some kind of upside out of him to be a potential regular. And I mean, I'm not really holding out hope he's going to be a star or a difference maker at this point, but you never know. When someone like Thomas DeJC, I'm fine with him being on the roster because I think long-term his role is a bench guy anyways, and you're hoping is a good one. I don't think you're hoping he's a below league average bat, but I don't think he's I mean, you look at JJ Weatherholt, Nolan Gorman, Mason Wynn, Brendan Donovan, all these different guys, I think they're all above Thomas DeJC in the pecking order, and they're probably going to bring in other guys above him on the pecking order before they went to him full-time at least. But I mean, he's also a guy who could hit his way into an opportunity, but specifically with Jordan Walker, I'd be fine with him being in AAA if they wanted to go that route. But also if they put him on the roster, that's cool too. What about you, Andrew?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think winning and playing the young guys are mutually exclusive, right?
Yeah,
like one of the young guys was going to have to sit anyway, just because Nolan Arenado didn't get traded, and you can't really bench him.
Yeah,
maybe you could trade him. Like the Dodgers just announced that Max Muncy's like injury might go into next year, and like he'll try to come back, but like it's not going to be the same, production wise. So I think there's a world where you move him to the Dodgers and like he has a team option too. And if it carries in the next year, maybe you send Arenado to the Dodgers now and get something back for it. Like I saw that news this morning. I was like kind of like I enjoy Max Muncy.
I doubt the Dodgers trade for Nato, but
it makes a lot of sense, right? And also the Yankees are out there. I just said that Arenado was helping your team win games, but out of all of the guys that have missed time recently between him and Nootbaar and Herrera, I think he's the least valuable of those guys. And the same goes for on the pitching side, where like playing the young guys is going to win you more games. Like Eric Fetty's not going to win you.
I know. I agree with that.
Like, please, Mo, figure it out. And then like, there's not a guy that I look at on this lineup that's like, this guy really shouldn't be getting playing time, and he's not a part of the future, except for like Pedro Pajes, where, if you want to have Ivon Herrera catch, I would be in favor of that. But, if that's an injury concern, definitely don't do it. If it's a throwing concern, I don't really care. Like,
I mean, they've pretty much ruled out Ivon Herrera as a catcher this year. I mean, he might get a few appearances back there, but I doubt it. And also, I don't think he's a catcher next year.
Yeah, and I would prefer that. Like, I don't know, what else could you do? Like, move Contreras back to catcher and then put Herrera at first base.
Don't
or something.
plant that seed.
Like, I don't know. That's not going to happen. That's not reasonable. But like, other than Pedro Pajes, I can't really point at a guy in the lineup that's like, really, this guy shouldn't be playing every day, right? Like Victor Scott should be playing every day because no one else is going to play center. They're not going to risk Nootbaar with the injury stuff. Nootbaar should be playing every day when healthy in the outfield. Burleson should be playing every day when healthy. Gorman should be playing every day. Thankfully, he most of the time is against right-handed pitching. Contreras under contract. He's not part of the problem. Mason Wynn, part of the future. Herrera is part of the future. Arenado is part of the future. So at that point, Jordan Walker is the one guy that you're like, well, we don't know if you're part of the future and you're not doing anything productive. So just send him to AAA, let him figure it out there. And like, I don't think they really need to acquire a big bat at the deadline, right? Like
getting Ivon Herrera back is just like making.
But like who's reasonably going to be available that's not going to just be a platoon option? Like Luis Robert is
Brent Rooker. Maybe, but probably not.
Brent Rooker.
I would love so much to see him in a Cardinals uniform. I would like. I'd probably sell almost anything aside from JJ Weatherholt to make Brent Rooker a Cardinal. But
there's only one DH in this league that I've ever been interested in, and that's not because he's a DH. But
just saying, I remember I suggested, not you guys, but I suggested a Brent Rooker trade last deadline, and people were like, "You can't trade all that for a DH only." And it's like,
I kind of agree.
Back retrospect, I think giving up Gorman and Walker for and some other stuff for him.
You have three guys that are basically just DHs anyway, right? Ivon Herrera is basically a DH. Alec Burleson, you're playing in the outfield out of necessity. And Nolan Gorman DHs a lot anyway, and he's not very good in the field. So, like, And Pozo
No,
also is on there. And
the problem is
more.
The Cardinals just need like there's nobody that except for Ivon Herrera right now you can just lock in. You're like, this guy's gonna have an 800 OPS at the end of the year. Like Ivon's your only bat. That's that guy right now. Wilson,
you can't
was
even
that
lock
guy.
that in. You can't even lock that in.
Yeah, it's true. You don't have enough.
1 year.
You don't know enough. Yeah, I think you can. I think like if it was over under 799.5 next year, like I'd be very comfortable taking the over on Ivon. But yeah, at this point, like you don't have any of those guys. Like acquiring an established bat, even if it's not like Brent Rooker is not a superstar. Brent Rooker's really good. You go look at those numbers; he is really good.
But you're not.
Like,
I mean, they're also not going to do that at this deadline. Like,
no, they're not
happening.
They're not. But is there even like I don't know, because there's a great chance that JJ Weatherholt is a really good player, but gets to his value by doing a lot of things right and ends up most years posting like a 770, 775 OPS. And that's No,
JJ for Brent Rooker.
No, I'm not giving up. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying JJ Weatherholt's the best player in your system, and there's a good chance that that's the player he is. Super valuable player, like a 775 OPS with elite defense, and he's going to run well. He's going to do a lot of things really well. Like, high baseball IQ player. That's a great player. But at the same time, like, I don't even know if there's a Brent Rooker in your system. I don't know if there's a guy that's going to put up those numbers ever. So I would love to see the Cardinals do something like that. I know they won't. They probably don't even have the means to acquire one of those guys without getting really uncomfortable. So they probably would never do it.
I don't know. Like,
if you're trying to contend, a right-handed platoon bat does make sense because you're so bad against left-handed pitching that it's not just a platoon bat. It would actually really help.
Have you looked at Tommy Pham splits after getting contacts?
They're not doing Tommy Pham again, but that would be hilarious.
Be really funny.
But like, I don't think they're gonna do it. But I'm saying, like, if you're like,
what do you have to give up for Tommy Pham? Like realistically, like
I mean, after how that ended, I don't think it's happened. I don't think they're running it back a third time.
What if you trade Ian Bedell for Tommy Pham? Who cares?
Yeah, I'm not telling you the value doesn't matter. I'm saying I don't think they're gonna do that. I think they could use a right-handed platoon bat. They're probably not gonna acquire one. So
yeah, it'd be nice to see them go out and get one.
I am curious though. Do you guys think it's worth going ahead and seeing what Ivon Herrera can do in the outfield if they feel comfortable running him out there? I'm fine running him out there.
It's fine. Yeah, I'd be fine with it.
Can't be worse than like 2023 Walker, right? Surely.
Yeah, and if it's bad, then they could just stop doing it. Like no one's
just
gonna
pull the plug. You're like,
yeah.
Okay, we're done with it.
Yeah, and then you work on it more in the off season. Obviously, you shouldn't like if they feel like it's going to be a disaster, don't do it. But if they're like, hey, let's see what it looks like, I'm down doing it because then that's a day where you can get Brendan Donovan at second base, Nolan Gorman at DH, and see what happens. I mean, obviously, the easier thing would be just to move Donovan to left field, Gorman to second base, and Ivon to DH. But also, if you're trying to get Arenado and Wilson Contreras off their feet some in DH, then you're going to need to put Ivon Herrera in the field, or else you're going to sit him that day. So I'm doing it. And I know that we've had debates before about Ivon Herrera as a catcher long-term or not. I don't know where you guys still land on that. I'm fully on board with him not being a catcher anymore because you just need that bat in the lineup. There are defensive deficiencies, and clearly he keeps getting hurt. I would rather put him in left field and see what happens.
Didn't he get hurt both times running the bases?
But they're clearly convinced that the wear and tear behind the plate is contributing to the fact that his lower half injuries are happening.
It's possible. I would try it. Like just one more time, just like see what you can get the pop time to be. You have a guy that's supposed to be
his pop time's fine.
It's not
like,
the problem.
Yeah, his pop time's above average now. It's just his arm is so bad it doesn't matter.
What does that mean? Wait, how can your arm be bad and have a good pop time?
Your pop time is how quickly you get up.
Yeah, pop time is how quickly he gets into his stance. Yeah. Like if he's doing
isn't it pop time is from one pop to one pop in the catcher's glove to the pop in the second baseman's glove.
No, pop time is how quickly you get the ball to your hand.
Or just the throw, like the arm. Anyway, whatever.
No, it's how quickly you deliver the ball. But then his arm strength is so bad, the ball takes forever to get there.
Like he gets the ball out of his hand really fast.
Like, well, you have just use the guy that you hired 2 years ago to teach him how to catch. And then
that guy decides not to show up, so they can't control that.
Well, yeah, I know. But like, I don't know. Just try to figure something out this offseason. If it doesn't work, then I don't know. I don't want to see Pedro Paz. I'm sorry.
Here, what's this? What's worst case scenario this deadline?
You trade Pete Hansen for Marcell Ozuna and he turns into Cy Young. I don't know.
Hansen.
Worst case scenario for the deadline is they sell the farm for someone they shouldn't have sold the farm for. Like, it's the worst case scenario would be doing it the way the Angels have done it in recent years, where you overpay for something that's not worth overpaying for, and then you get worse. Like when didn't they trade like Edgar Caro to the White Sox?
No, the Angels. Yeah.
Giolito.
Yeah.
Was that a trade that they made?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Just do what the Angels did. And well, the thing is, I would love to have an Ohtani to be like, oh, should we trade him? But we don't. We don't even have half an Ohtani. We don't even have like the pitching version of Ohtani. Whereas like,
yeah, we don't have any of that.
It's like, what are you gonna do? Trade Ryan Helsley and that's it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
What if they trade Eric Fetty right now for Tommy Pham and the Pirates trade him at the deadline for a big prospect package? Not a big prospect package, but like something. I don't know.
Who knows? Any other storylines you guys are kind of keeping your eye on for the rest of the second half?
I just want to stay relevant. I want to cover playoff series and I want to cover a fun deadline.
Yeah.
But none of those things are going to happen, so it's okay.
Yeah. Oh well.
I don't know. I just am again. I'm like I just even if there's turnover this year with the roster, I don't see the Cardinals going out and like getting someone great. Aside from JJ, I don't know what impact talent there is on the position player side to like make you that much better. And so I just think the Cardinals are going to be in a similar position next year. They were in a very similar position last year. They were in a very similar position in 2021. 2023 was a really weird year. 2022, they were really good, but they also got an unpredictable MVP season from Goldschmidt, like way above his career norms. And he was already aging. We saw what the aging looked like after that. And you had Albert Pujols' magical run. But like they've been in this position so many times. They kind of felt the same way from 2016 through 2018. Honestly, in 2019, they felt a little bit like this and got hot at the end. But I just wonder how many more years we're going to be in this position. And it's like, I don't know. I want them to win, because if you're going to be here and you're going to miss the playoffs, like that's the worst thing ever. If you're going to be okay at the deadline, have a chance, be able to add something, like if you can go get a right-handed bat that's not that expensive and it makes you that much better against lefties and it helps you win 3 additional games down the stretch, that's a huge deal. If that guy drives in 3 big runs for you at a given point in time, and that's the reason that you win a couple extra games in September, maybe you get to watch this team in a wildcard series. And I know that we hate the all bets are off playoffs. I don't know if Heim thinks about it that way. I know Mo does. And it'd be nice to at least roll it one more time. That's just my thing. Because I think you might be in the same position next year and we'll do the same thing where we're like, well, we need to see what's going on and we need to know what the future looks like. And we're still answering questions that we haven't answered for multiple years. Or there's new guys to answer questions about. Like maybe Nathan Church is a guy you're trying to like, what is he next year? It's the same thing. So that's where I am. I would love to see them. You can move guys that you want to move, but also like do something to get better, show the team you care about them, and get them real experience. Have any of these guys played in meaningful games ever? Like Ivon Herrera, has he played in a meaningful game before?
Donovan and Newbar played in the Wildcard.
Yeah, they played in the 2022 series.
Yeah.
But have these other guys?
Ultimately, the reason they'll be in meaningful games down the stretch is because of those young guys, no matter what. Like, if you hold on to Helsley and Maton, you're not playing meaningful games because you have Helsley and Maton. They're helping, but it's because of Donovan and Newbar and Wynn and Herrera and these guys. So that's where I would say I agree with you that they should be trying to win down the stretch. But I think you can, like the Tigers last year, where it's like you sell off some pieces that are going to get you value. But hey, if we make a run in August and September, we're not complaining and we're excited about it and hopeful. But I don't think I would risk, or I would forego adding to my future for the sake of holding on to guys like that. But again, if they do, I'm not going to, I don't know. Maybe I'll dog them for it. There's still some weeks to figure out how I totally feel about it, but
I'm fine moving guys if you do something else to get better and supplement it. Like that's fine. You can move all 3 of them if you'll go get a right-handed bat, even if it's cheap. If it's something that makes you better and it's something that shows the clubhouse, or if you go get another reliever that maybe a tier down from a Maton, but still helps your bullpen and still gives you some innings and stabilizes you. And
I could
clean some value off the top of that.
I could see them taking 2 or 3 from the Diamondbacks this weekend and then sweeping the Rockies, and then you're right back in the mix. And like at that point, I don't think they're going to do anything, right? Like I don't think they're gonna sell anybody, and they're probably looking to add something because I want to see the DeWitts put their money where their mouth is. Where Mo is saying like, yeah, I think ownership would be really supportive if something happened. And we're playing well, and they go out and get something. I want to see that. I want to see that version of the timeline. I don't know how likely that is, but I want to see that. And we can finally put DeWitt out of F tier when we do our tier list at the end of the month, right? Like that'd be great.
Unlikely. We're trying to save a little bit of money from Eric Fetty. So
that's fine. That's fine. If they trade Eric Fetty and they're like, we use that money to go get something real, great, do it.
I don't know if that's how they'd be using the money they save, but hey, I do think next year's team could be really exciting because you're going to have JJ Weatherholt. You might have Liam Doyle by that point too. Who knows? Probably not. But
I saw a comment that says Liam Doyle's our high leverage lefty to replace Matz, and I
hilarious. Yeah, when does Heim get added to the tier list? Maybe after this deadline. Well, did Heim had an impact on this draft? Like, I feel like it's okay to start.
I feel like this has his name written all over it. But
yeah, I feel like next tier list we should add Heim to it.
I think so too. He had an impact on the draft. Like those were probably his guys. I think Liam Doyle's a Heim guy.
At this rate, at some point, we're gonna have like a tier list that's gonna be like, how do we feel like the ball boys have been doing? We got some randos on there sometimes.
I love that. And I think Pop Warner needs to be on the tier list because I need to put him in F tier. It's the worst.
Eric Fetty is gonna get his own tier next time? Can we agree on that? Unless he like throws a no hitter against the Rockies.
Are we putting a tier below F tier just for Eric Fetty?
I think so. I think we have to.
What would you call it?
Tier?
Eric Fetty.
Oblivion.
We could do like what all those fun accounts do, where they don't do A, S, A, B, C. They do like, I don't know, fun names for all of them.
Yeah, that's
the Fetties are bottom tier.
Fetty's in the abyss.
Mo keeps getting lower every time Eric Fetty makes a start. I feel like he drops a little bit because I was like, yeah, it reminds me of his mistakes.
Ooh, it's good point for Mina here. Grounds crew needs to be on there.
The grounds crew's great. They did some great stuff getting that field ready to play.
Yeah.
I love the grounds crew.
How many times have we had our streams canceled or moved back because of a rain out this year? It's got to be like 5 times already this season, right? Like it's been terrible.
Well, yeah, the Cardinals have played so many doubleheaders and they've had so many rain-affected games. Even games where like it's just been delayed, like at the beginning, that still affects things. Like if you heard Sonny Gray after that last start when he got pulled in the 5th after the 5th inning, he's like, "Yeah, I thought we weren't playing. Like it screws my warm up."
True.
Yeah. Well, I want to see the Cardinals get better. I just want to see them make the playoffs. I'm with Andrew. Like I just want to cover a playoff series. I just want to watch playoff games.
I don't care if we only cover 2 playoff games this year. We cover playoff games, and I can get to make graphics with the playoff gold and all that. You know,
and there's no point in losing. They don't. I mean, you can have a higher draft pick, but they can't pick in the top 10. But I still don't think you need to mortgage the future or potentially say no to future assets to do it either. I think you can try and do both. So
yeah, I'm fine with that.
It's a thin line to walk. It's not obviously you create more of a bottom or a floor for you, a lower floor for you if you do that route, but. I'd rather create the possibility you miss the playoffs, even increase the odds you miss the playoffs more while keeping the odds significant enough you could make the playoffs, which aren't that significant anyways, versus the opposite route. But we'll see. So
we just need a 2021 type run. That's what we need.
That would be crazy.
We need Mo to go around. I should have come up with this idea at the start of the season, like how Albert and Yachty were getting gifts at every stadium they visit for the last time. For every stadium Mo visits for the last time, they should give him a new bow tie. But
a new bow tie. Well, the last few cities he visits this year, no. But we'll see. At some point, we're gonna have to talk about. Are they going to do the end of season little celebration for him, or what's the retirement party going to look like? Who knows? But hey, as always, thanks for tuning in to Deal on the Cards. Again, go back and check out our draft coverage from this weekend. It was really fun. I know Kareem and Sandy will have some kind of birds on the farm to recap that here soon as well. We'll be back probably on Sunday to recap their first series after the break. Should be a really intriguing second half. It's been a fun first half of the season for the Cardinals so far, but we're thankful you all joined us for this ride so far. Like and subscribe helps channel a ton, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, Heim.
Thanks.